Hey, I guess I'm live. I don't know how this works. I'm going to try, but I tried over on Instagram and my internet connection wasn't good enough. So I'm going to try here. Got about 2 hours before I have to be in a meeting. And I figured I haven't had a chance to put up a video lately. So why not? I'll try. And if anybody shows up, that's cool. If nobody shows up, that's cool. I'll put it up as a normal podcast. And hey, I'm Kagi. Welcome to the High Fiber Diet. This is season 2, episode 4. I think that's what I wrote. And I'm having a cup of tea. I have some knitting to talk about, some not frogging to talk about, some additions and changes and things like that on existing projects, ones that I had recently finished and I didn't like. First thing, I am wearing my Easy Eyelet Yoke cardigan. I made an adjustment to this. The neckline was out to here. I had wanted it smaller. I went ahead and I crocheted right around 2 stitches down, a chain doing every other stitch. And I cinched up this neckline and I like the way it falls much, much better. I have alerts coming up. I thought I turned them off. So this is all new to me. So let's see how this goes. So I made this fit a lot better. I love the way the bracelet length sleeves are, not too long. I like the way it fits. I'll stand up here. It is very nice, a little bit lower in the back. I did some short rows there. I did some short rows at the top. And it hits me just about waistband in the front. It's not real cropped, but it's right at where the fashion is these days. Fashion changes, and when you knit for yourself, why not knit what you want? So that's what I did. While I was at it, I took the Audrey from, this one was Knititude, done in Lion Brand Chainette in the Seafoam colorway. This is Knitty McPearly, and it is done in the Toffee colorway of Silky Wool. And this is a Silky Wool XL. So if you wanted to do regular Silky Wool, you hold it double. But I did the same thing on this one, and this one I can show you a little bit better on how I just did every other stitch and a crochet chain around the inside. And I have not done anything else. When you're wearing it, you cannot see it, but it cinched this up quite a bit too. And I'm wondering if it's because of my sloping shoulders that everything in the neckline just goes out a little bit more. My shoulders are no wider than somebody who wears, 4 sizes down from me. It's the size of my arms that are bigger that bring it out, but the shoulders have to fit and the bone is right here. And so I need to bring that up to where it's comfortable around my neckline. So that's what I do, is I just take a crochet chain and every other stitch, or depending on how much you want to reduce it. I mean, your inch count from your swatch or from your knitting, you can take it right off here and say you want to take it from a 22-inch neckline to a 18-inch. So how many inches do you want to reduce? How many stitches per inch? You figure it out. It's just a little bit of math. And you finally get a sweater that you love. And that's what I did on both of these. And I have worn them several times since adjusting them, and I love them. That was my adjustments to past projects. I did finish my pixelated cardigan. And this is done in Mega Tweed. And I believe that was from Premier. And then I did wildflower yarn from Collage, from Knit Collage. And I love the way this came out. Now you can either make the pattern with or without a button. Stand up again. Front boobage there, sorry. But to put it on, of course, I wouldn't wear it sweater over sweater. It fits phenomenally. And I just need to steam it to get those to lay flat. I did do, what wasn't in the pattern was I did do a crab stitch, backward single crochet. And I ordered 2 buttons for right here. And I think it's going to be just fine. It hits just below the waist, about pocket length on my jeans. And it's a nice length on my sleeve. Very warm. I'm really liking it. I'm just waiting for the buttons to come in and I will finish this up. But I have discovered in the last 2 years of what I wear and what I don't and what I prefer. Cardigans are not on my everyday grab and go. Now I have a cardigan for the office. Love that. But most of those are very, hi Mandy. They're very thin and it's not something I'm gonna knit because God knows I don't like knitting with size 2 except for socks. So that's not gonna happen. So I buy those. Plus in a shop environment, they get filthy. They need to be able to go in the washer. I love my pullovers and it's just what I'm drawn to for knitting. So that being said, I have a couple items going. I started my Owls sweater, which is an old Kate Davies pattern. I want to say 2006. It's a pullover. Let's see if I can pull up a picture of the Owls pattern because I have both the Owls pullover and I have the Cardigan by her. And I've made both in the past. Of course, I shrank from 425 pounds down to what I am now. Well, what I was before and what I am now. And I got rid of a ton of my sweaters that I had made before. And so now I am recouping. That's why in the last 2 years, I have been very much knitting sweaters and just addressing my wardrobe. And that's what I needed to do. This is the Owls that I am talking about. It's by Kate Davies. And it's done in a bulky. And so I got 10 skeins of wool spun from Lawn Brand. It is a wool blend. Like I said, I want washable. Not that I don't knit with regular yarn too, wool yarns, but oh my, 4 stitches off the needle. So what I have done, this is a bottom up pullover, which is not my normal go-to, but I know it works because I've made it before. And I am 2.5 skeins in. I have this much of this skein left. And I did, instead of the 2x2 ribbing that it calls for, I did a 1x1 ribbing at the bottom. And I am going to knit 17 inches before I do the sleeves and then work for the yoke. Mine, I am planning on only 2 buttons. I'm going to do an accent owl, possibly in this area, like right here, compared to all the way across. And I won't do it on the back because my hair is long enough that that would get caught up in it. And I didn't like it before, so I'm not going to do it this time. So I am making these on Knit Picks. I think it's the Radiance needles. And I am doing a size 11 on this size because that is what I got gauge with. It calls for a 10.5, but I did a swatch and I got gauge with that. This is a 10.5. When I knit going round and round, I like a smaller needle on my left-hand needle and a bigger needle on my right. And that just makes things smoothly go. And as always, I started flat, knit 2 rounds. Don't always show that off, but I knit 2 rounds and then I join. And so this will get combined. I also, as you see, there's 2 strings here. I start my long tail cast on when I'm doing a large amount from the inside and the outside of the ball. And that way I have enough without having to think about having enough for casting on. And so at this point, that's where I am. The stitch marker I'm using is from Knitty McPurley. It came with the necklace that I am wearing. This is a stitch marker necklace. And seeing close, I can't see close with my glasses on. It does open, I promise. And now it's going to be a pain. There we go. So when I open it, you'll see there is bunches of stitch markers in there. And all different sizes, all the way down to sock size, and all different shapes. There's rounds, there's octagons, there's squares, and they go all the way up. I think they fit from a size 15 down in sizes. So I like my stitch marker necklace. Now she's not going to be carrying these in the shop all the time. She said in her last video that she will have them available occasionally. So that is, yeah, my not frogging, my casting on this time. What else do I have going? I have in this bag, I have the test knit that I am working on. I'm not going to pull it fully out, but it is in, why can't I think of it? It's Knit Picks Gloss, the silk merino. Yeah, it's gloss. And this is in the velveteen colorway. It's gloss. And I am doing this, I actually had to rip back because the tension was so tight. I am such a tight knitter that knitting on the size that she wanted me to knit on, I was hurting my hands. I was not making the count I needed to. And because you have these drop down stitches in this pattern, it's a top down pattern, and there's little drops. And kind of like how the clapetee had drops, but this one stops at a certain point, and so you've got these little runs in your sweater. It's really interesting, but I actually went up to a size 8 needle. I'm getting better gauge, and so I had ripped back and restarted just to be where I liked what I was getting and the hand of it and the way my hands felt while I was knitting on it. I'm doing that again. I think those are also on the Radiance needles. Let me look. Yep. No, these are on the Rosewood needles. And I knit on all sorts of needles. I don't, you know, the wand picks the wizard, right? So that's how it is. Another thing I have going, here's another, is my hand spun. And this bag is by Anomalous Mind. It's my Sloth bag. And this, I only did a few rows on, but I'm still enjoying it. This is my hand spun. And did I put, yes, I did, because I was smart at that time. Apothecary Fabrications was where I got the fiber from. It is Baby Doll South Down at 28 micron. It's extremely soft. I have yay much left to go, but I haven't been out and about in the car much because it's been snowy and nasty, and Yeah, and I can't drive and knit, so, you know, I gotta wait until Sarge is home to be able to do that, so I haven't been going anywhere. So that is all I have on that one. I did have a doctor's appointment, so I was able to get some knit on my socks. These are the socks that I'm doing out of the Regia Perfect, I think it is. And I'm going to do a toe, and then at the other end do a toe. I don't know if these are going to become socks because I am in the middle of the ball here. I haven't hit the yellow yet. I'm just about to the yellow. And I don't know if that's going to be long enough for me for socks. I may adjust and do mittens out of them because that will be enough for mittens. So we'll just see. I'm doing a tube right now, and that's all that is right now. And those are on sock sticks by, is it Lantern Moon who does sock sticks? I think so. And I knit 99% of my socks are knit on a size 2. That's just what I prefer. This bag, however, is from I Heart You, and I had to buy it. I had to. Do you see those little stinkers? Isn't it cute? It's and 2020 truly stank, and I'm like, I have to get this. Oh my gosh, this is adorable. And so it has the skunk, it has just a plain black, and it has a nice fun geometric at the top. On the inside, this one just has a shade on shade pattern. No pockets, no nothing. It is just wonderful, and it cinches perfectly. And so I have my little stinker bag from I Heart You. Awesome. Next up, I have in this bag, hey, it's got yarn. I decided that I didn't have enough on my needles already. I needed something on my hooks. And so I am doing a granny ripple with all of my minis from the advent calendars that I had. And I took all of the minis, trying to pull it out here so I can show you. And I took a dozen of them and I made them up into a ball. And then I took a cone of alpaca that I have. It is alpaca wool nylon 50, 20, 30. It's lace weight. It's from Zylinger's. It's just a natural brown, nothing fancy. And I am marling that. And this is how it's coming out. And my sister has decided that she has already claimed it. We'll see if it goes to her. She's telling me how her toes are cold in Arizona. Yeah, I'm going to get right on making her a blanket. I love her dearly, but I've only done, I think it's 6 repeats across, and I'll be doing a border around the whole thing, but we'll just see how long this gets. This is definitely not going to be machine washable with the alpaca and such. That's not superwash, but I am loving, can you see the way that marl is coming out? It is just gorgeous. And I'm loving the way, because some of these colors, I just said, these are not going to go together. And some of the speckles, it's gorgeous. You know, they're wonderful individually, but how am I going to do this together? And I have a whole nother skein made up that still has to go in that. And then along with all of that, there were slub and tweeds and things like that. And I'm like, let's just throw that in somewhere. So it'll probably be in between the two. I will throw in this one. That's all slubs and everything else. They don't want to stay in a ball. I don't know why. But I'm excited to see what this is going to come out looking like. Now, I've probably got 50 more minis somewhere in the bedroom that I can definitely tap into. If it isn't quite long enough, I can do that. But this really big bag, Lori, you got for me for Christmas, and it is holding this blanket perfectly. And I am doing this with a 5mm hook. And of course, I like the boy head. So it's, what is this one called? It's a direct set or straight set, not sure. But that's the tip I like on my crochet hooks. And I think I have one more knitting to talk about. Oh, where I got that pattern. I picked up this book, 200 Ripple Stitches, and it is by Jan Eaton. And there's a couple different, I know I had talked about, I wanted to do a ripple blanket for Boo. I needed to get one done for her house. She has moved into her house and is set up, so I need to do that. But this book, I think this Golden Glow on this side is the one that I'm going to do for her. It is just a simple, regular ripple. But this book has 200 ripple stitches for doing afghans. And this is the one I'm using right now, which is just the granny. And I think this cost me, on here it says that it cost $15.95, but I don't think I paid $10 for this on Amazon. And 2-day shipping, and it worked for me, and I know I'll use it over and over and over. The last thing I think I have on my knitting needles is my sister's favorite thing, Make Along. I know it's probably done now. I just haven't had a chance to finish it. The last repeat is just a feather and fan, just like the top repeat. And then you have a color at the bottom, and I'm not sure I don't wear purple, so I'm not sure I want purple at my bottom. I may pick another color out of my minis that I have to finish it off. But I really like the way it has come out. I know there's 2 colors here where there should have only been 1, but I'm still loving it. And I have this much to go on all of the feather and fan to get that finished at the edging. And I just need to finish it up. Right now it's sitting at about 300 stitches or just over 300 stitches. So it's just brain power and time. I know I need to finish it. And I have a serious problem. I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but I have a serious problem with 80%. I get something to 80% and then my brain goes, I can go somewhere else. I don't need to think about that anymore. That means I don't finish a lot. And that's not a good thing. I need to finish. But I had shinies. So, I had to start the other sweaters. I had to fix these sweaters. It got snowy. I needed sweaters. My excuse. I don't know if it's real. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Julie. This is in my Cedar Hill Farms bucket bag. I still love this. I know ornaments are for Christmas, but America is for year round for me. So this is probably going to get used quite a bit. I love it. And it's a pair of jeans at the bottom. So that's a nice denim. And I'm a jean wearer. So what else have I been working on? It hasn't all been knitting and crochet. I am learning to embroider. And I know I showed a couple episodes ago these kits that I had ordered from Hook, Line, and Tinker. And these are fun because you use half the strand. So I guess it's a 6 strand, so you use 3. And this is where I'm sitting right now. I kind of screwed up a little bit in here, but you can't see. One of the things that she talks about is don't worry about your back. You're learning your stitches. Hi, Nennard. So in learning, the back looks like crap, but I'm learning. And it's not as fancy. You can either do super fancy or you can do minimal. And I'm doing minimal. And the super fancy would have had all these fun stitches and everything like that. And yeah, I'm not there yet. I have another one to do. And I'm learning. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're doing needlepoint too. So I did order a needle minder. It hasn't come in yet, so I'm just holding it on with a piece of thread so I remember that it's there so I don't poke myself in my fingers. I also ordered a thimble. I've never had a thimble before, so I ordered one because I keep poking my fingertips and I don't like that. So I'm hoping that this will be done and up on the wall soon. It'll go up in my craft room. That's another story for another day. We'll work on that later. But the other thing that I have been doing is I've been dyeing yarn. I found about 8 bags of undyed yarn. Now, I knew I had some because I want some plain sweaters, but I decided to go with Galilee Life instead of Etsy. And I have a shop, and I'll put it down in the doodly do or whatever it's called, the drop down. I don't normally put shops and stuff in that, but I have been dyeing yarn. And this one completely reminded me of tiger lilies. And I have not reskeined this one. The rest of them I've reskeined. But you can see how it's going to be splotchy instead of speckled. I don't know how to do speckle. I'm not into speckle. So this does have the tiger stripes. Now, I had started a sweater in another bag with the tiger stripes. So I still have that one going. But this one, I was like, let's just play. And the way it's going to come out, if you did the helical knitting, I think in a sweater or a shawl or a cowl, these will just, I have 10 of them in the shop. These will just be gorgeous coming out. And definitely tiger lilies at Easter. That's pretty standard. So I did some tiger lilies. You're going to kind of see a little bit of my theme with colors. I'm a fall color person, but you can still make them spring-like. Sarge and I took a walk. I should say this is 100% Highland wool, and it's worsted weight. But Sarge and I took a walk back, I want to say April of last year. I had gone over to where he's stationed, and we took a nature walk. And I took a couple photos while I was there. And I used that photo for the colors that I used in this DK weight yarn. I have 5 skeins of it, and I'm calling it Nature Walk. And these have been reskeins, so everything blends together. And you can see the pinks and the golds and the blues of the sky, the greens, everything's in there that's very naturey. And I have 5 skeins of that. This is 100% superwash BFL. And so these will be up in the shop. The shop's name is Knittin' in the Mitten. Of course, I have that as my podcast retreat too, when we're able to do retreats and things. But I decided instead of calling it High Fiber Diet like I call just about everything, I just do Knittin' in the Mitten for this. And then the last thing I have 2 different colors of. This one I'm calling Bonfire. And it definitely looks like the coals of the bonfire to me. You're going to see the grays, the blacks, the little pops of reds. It's a slub yarn, so it's fingering slub. And I have 3 skeins of this. And then this one I didn't do the dark overwash on, and I left it with a lighter amount of dyes. And this is Meat Mauve. And Meat Mauve is, or you can call it mauve, however, I don't know how M-A-U-V-E goes out with an O, but everybody talks differently. You tell me, do you pronounce it mauve like mod or mauve like rove? I don't know. But I'm loving this one. It's a little bit too purple for me, but I know other people absolutely love the purples. And so that's what that one is. So those are the 4 colorways that I have up in the shop right now, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm not super, hey, I'm going to have a shop and I'm going to throw things up and this is going to be an advertisement for me. No, I found skeins that I used to dye yarn. I had some dye. I ordered a little bit more. I had some fun. Hope it sells. That's where I am right now. Other things that's been going on, lots of interviewing for me, still fingers crossed on jobs. I have a second interview, well, technically third. I had one at 10 a.m. last Tuesday. I had one at 2 p.m. last Tuesday, and now I've been called for a third. And fingers crossed on that job. I just did right of refusal on a job because they were wanting to pay me $15,000 less than my minimum, and I can't eke that in. Where do I buy my dyes? I get mine from Dharma, and you can either get Dharma kind or Jacquard. I'm not much into the green dyes because I find that they fade a bit, but I've also been known to use Kool-Aid. So, I'm not opposed to any kind of dye. Easter egg dye, the little tablets, if you can get the tablet Easter egg and you add citric acid or vinegar and dye wool with it. I have socks that have been going for 10 years strong. I wash them in the washer, dry them in the dryer, and they work. So, yeah. Oh, is Dharma near you? Okay, that's cool. Let's see. I do have a gadget this week, but first I'll talk about the recipe I made. I love crab rangoons. I don't like fried crab rangoons. So I actually made crab rangoons and then I made chicken rangoons because I didn't want all fish. And so that sounds funny because you don't get that at Asian food, but it is what it is. And so I doctored it for my house. But it's basically 8 ounces of meat, throw it into a food processor, throw in green onions, cream cheese, Worcester sauce, or however you say that, soy sauce, garlic, and a little bit, I used a shallot on top of the green onions. And blend all that up and put it on tablespoonfuls into wonton wrappers. I sprayed parchment paper and put the wonton wrappers in the oven for 15 minutes. I'll put a recipe in the drop down on how to do it. It's from All Recipes, but they came out amazing. I do need to work on how I press together the edges of my wontons because I did them in triangles, and I think I got them too wet and they popped. So they need to be a little bit drier. And yeah, they were amazing. And like I said, I did both chicken and crab, and I have just the filling in the fridge. So if I want 2 or 3, I can make them up. They cook for 425 for 15 minutes, and it was wonderful. So I didn't have to go out. I was craving an indulgence, and that was that. It would be a great appetizer or something that you could have with your meals. for me, 3 of them make a full meal, and so I'm happy there. For my gadget this week is something Sarge uses a lot, and I saw him using it with his tactical stuff, and I'm like, I want one of those. And this is a Pelican 1020 case. And little Pelican cases are amazing for water tightness when you're talking ammo and other things like that. Everybody knows that, that's Sarge's thing. But these are also great as all of your notions to keep. I have 3 of them now. I keep a bunch of my crochet hooks in one. I keep my needles in another. And I have a bunch of different little containers for, I think they originally were containers from David's tea for tea samples, but I use them for stitch markers. And they fit in here perfectly. These have little rounded, so when you put in the little tea containers, I can fit 6 of those and then a pair of scissors on the inside. And so I have stitch markers and needles and, whatever I want in here that's just little. And this is the micro case series. Again, it's the 1020. I think it was like $14. So it wasn't bad. You can also, my phone is too small for this one. I would need the 1040, I believe it is, for my phone, but it says that you can protect mobile phones, PDAs, electronics, games, keys, all sorts of things. It comes with the carabiner on it, and it becomes watertight. So they're really cool, and I basically stole one from him in the beginning and then ordered more for myself because, I like gadgets, and that's who I am. So other than that, do you have any questions for me? Because you guys are here and listening, and hopefully everything's going through and people are still here. So I'm seeing a few people in the chat room. Well, if this goes up correctly and easily, because it's been taking me about 6 hours to get it from my iPad onto YouTube. And if this is going to go a little bit more easily onto YouTube, this is the format I'm going to use from now on. No editing, because I'm not editing anyways. I try to talk about what patterns I'm doing so that I don't always give designer names, but I at least give the name of the pattern. And I don't know. I'm going to try this out and see. I had honestly thought about going back to audio because it was much easier for me and it took less than 10 minutes to upload. And it was less space on my computer, and I didn't have to think about, well, I'm going to show this. What am I wearing? Have I done my hair today? All sorts of things like that. And the only problem with that is I don't want the cost of Libsyn anymore. I've always eaten that cost, and I just don't want to do it. Will I give advance notice? I am going to try to. It is Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's Tuesday. Right now, while I'm not working, Tuesday seems to be the day that in the past I have recorded. And so I like a Tuesday recording. And so I'm going to say, Tuesday about noonish if I can, and hopefully every other week. The every week was getting to me. I just don't knit enough to talk about it every week, and other people do. I don't. I don't know, but every other week, and let's see how that goes unless I get a job, and then we will be changing it probably to a weekend or an evening. I don't like doing evening because I don't have all the lights. Now, I have them. I can go get them. I can set them up because I used to do photography. But I don't like the light shining on me. I have this menopause thing that's going on. And let's be real. I don't like being warm or overly warm. So, yeah. I would like to say that's going to be a thing, is about noon on Tuesdays every other week. So 2 weeks from now, we'll see about doing this again. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Check your checkbook before starting the high fiber diet. Bye-bye.